There's always a lot of things going on in 101 Country. It seems like it's an amazing September, something going on all the time. This is Bill Potter now stepping into the studio on WBDC, also on 18 WJTS as we record an In.form program, which will be aired later on 18 WJTS. We are very honored to have joining us in the studio two folks from the Patoka Lake Watershed. First of all, Emily Russell. Emily is the coordinator for the Patoka Lake Watershed. And John Wade, who has been with the Patoka Lake Watershed as long as I can remember.
It started.
Okay.
I don't want to look back.
You mean even from when they did the lake? When they started the lake?
No.
Okay.
2006, I think, was when the grant started, and that's when the watershed basically started. The
okay,
committee.
because you don't look like you're over 40. That's what I thought. That's kind of...
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, this weekend, this Saturday, is the Patoka Lake Cleanup, and will one of you explain what is the Patoka Lake Cleanup?
So the Patoka Lake Cleanup is an annual event that we have every year to help rid the lake of the summer's trash.
And really, we're not in the lake. We're mostly outside the lake.
Yes, correct. We do boat ramps, roadsides, a few of our natural areas and parking areas, but mostly the roadsides. That's where our litter is concentrated.
Okay, and John, why are we not doing the lake shore, but we're doing the outside of that area?
Well, in a way, we do. I think we did start having boats, I think a couple boats this year. So some of those areas you couldn't reach walking in, we might boat in people and pick up litter in places that you couldn't get access by walking in.
Okay, but we're doing the outer area too, like along the roads. I think that's what I did last year was a road.
Yes, correct. We cover the roads and anything basically that's just around and close to the lake.
Because we don't want, if it's on the road, eventually it's going to end up in the lake. It's what's going to happen.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, this would all be prevented if people were just nice and neat and tidy and didn't throw trash out a window or let it blow out of their boat, which does happen. There are accidents that happen, yes. But now we got to clean it up because we don't want that in our water. 'Cause I think I heard something somewhere, Emily, maybe you can speak to this, that every plastic bottle now that you drink water from, and everybody drinks water from plastic bottles, has a little bit of plastic floating in that water.
Yeah, microplastics are becoming a huge issue, and we're not really sure the future implications of that health-wise, but the more we can pick it up and prevent it from entering our system, the better.
Okay, and what is the Patoka Lake Watershed?
So a watershed is a drainage area. They may seem flat, think of your bathtub, but all the water ends up in one point, right, like the drain. So for the Patoka Lake Watershed, our drain is the lake. So everything in the watershed at some point ends up in the lake.
Okay, and that's why we want to clean it up. And it could be plastic, it could be cans, it can be it can be tires. I think every year there's a certain amount of tires that are picked up. What are you needing now? Now you need volunteers to help do this.
Yeah, I think Emily's got that with the what do we really do at the cleanup? Yes.
Okay, this Saturday, let's do the time first maybe. When is the cleanup, and then who do you need there?
So we begin at 8, and anybody that wants to help can show up, and we'll find a way that you are able to help. Mostly what we need is people to walk along roadsides or kayak for the shoreline to pick up litter. You'll come in at 8, you'll sign a volunteer form. We will get you the bags, grabbers, safety vests, and everything you need to go pick up and assign you a location.
One suggestion is don't wear open-toed shoes.
Yes, I would suggest even long pants, too, because if you're alongside the road, you may end up in some tall grass, and it might be more comfortable that way.
I think it may be hot, even if it is. You do want to wear long pants, and use the bug spray. I found that out last year. Use the bug spray.
Yes, and we do have a fish fry, so there is prizes in bags after you come back, and you can enjoy a good old fish fry.
What if I can't make it at 8? Because I've got something going on. I can't get there till 9:30. Does that make a difference?
That's totally okay, and we also offer, if you want to register ahead of time, check out our Facebook. My email is on there, and you can get with me ahead of time to fill out a form, so we already have you on file. And if you have the correct equipment, you can pick up before you even come to the dam site.
Okay, so you can start cleaning up right away, but mostly you're going to go there, and you're going to assign them a place to go.
Yes.
So you may say, look, I would really rather have a nice little flat area to go, and you'll say, okay, go clean this road. Somebody else may say, I love being near the water, and you may say, okay, go clean the shore.
The one thing we do, we try to keep those families or groups with children not in the roads, not along the highways. We kind of put them areas where they're a little safer.
Okay, and you mentioned like families. Are you looking for groups to also come? Can Boy Scout troop? Can a family, as you mentioned, or individuals?
Yeah, well, anybody that wants to help, we're happy to have you, and we'll find a location that suits you best. If you have a large group, we'd really like to get with you ahead of time so we can fill out all those forms, ahead of the event to kind of help save on time.
Really, what you just need are volunteers who can just bend down, or you don't even have to bend down because you give us grabbers to pick up the trash. And you can go as deep in the woods kind of as you want, but not too deep because most of that's private property. Is that right?
We mostly stick to the roadsides. That's where you'll see the highest litter concentration anyway. Try to stay in the right of way and things like that.
Okay, so now you need volunteers, and people have a week to plan.
Yeah, and remember, it's Eastern Standard Time.
Oh,
so,
good point.
those people from Gibson County, Warwick County, remember, it is Eastern Standard Time.
And this is starting at the Patoka Lake Dam where the Corps of Engineers is. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. It's on Cusco Road, and if you get in Google Maps or Apple Maps and look up Army Corps of Engineers, it should pull up an address for Cusco Road where you're able to locate it. We also have some directions and things like that on our Facebook page. Okay,
and there's rewards for people who come in and do this, not only just doing it and feeling good about what you're doing and the importance of what you're doing, but you got a fish fry after, you mentioned, John.
Yes, correct. And there's grabbing bags where we throw in some things, and then there's some prizes that you can go for, and some pretty nice prizes for them too. So we just would like people to come enjoy themselves, and in the past it seems like that's worked out.
Really, it is a fun time. You work as hard as you want to work. If you're not really wanting to go crazy and pick up hundreds of pounds of bags, you don't have to. But if you want to do that, which I really like it, I'm looking for. I don't know. I think it's like treasure hunting, but it's not. But it's kind of like that.
Yeah. I'm not. How do you know how much we've done over the years of volunteers and that roughly?
There's over 1,800 volunteers, and I think over 56,000 pounds of trash since it's began. And was it 2008 the first cleanup?
Yeah, I think this is the 17th cleanup.
18th. This one's the 18th.
Oh, is 18th?
Okay.
18th. Time flies.
Yeah, sure. When you're having fun. And I think the thing that we got to remember is water is a very precious resource. And we take it for granted because of what the Patoka Lake Water Company that provides really good, clean water. But we also take a part in keeping that clean.
Well, that brings up a good point. Why are we doing this? Well, let's just look at the lake. The lake, I think, is the second largest man-made lake in Indiana. 8,800 acre lake. I think it's summer pool. So what was the lake made for? Well, it was made for flood control, recreation, and drinking water. Mm-hmm. So what happened to flood control? Well, now supposedly they have saved about $150 million worth of flood damage around the area. Recreation, over about 700,000 people visit that area every year. They're spending money. And they figure it's about $16.5 million that goes in there, and that's spent within a 30-mile radius of that. Plus the fact that I believe there's like almost 200 jobs that result from that lake, and they're making, that means wages are up around $5 million too. Very, very important. So then you mentioned the drinking water. Well, Patoka Lake Water and Sewer, which can take out of the lake, they have a contract, can take 20 million gallons of water out of that lake. Right now, currently, I think they're pumping around 8 million gallons. They're pumping it into 11 counties, so that means they're going to the Howe River, they're going all the way up to Paoli, they're already going over to Gibson County to Oakland City, which means there's 800 miles of lines that's putting in, and that totals about 100,000 households that are getting water that without the lake, without Patoka, the water system, they would probably have cisterns or any other way of getting water. So it's just super important, yes.
And that's why it's important that everybody participate and be a part of this, because a lot of people recreate. Not many of us are affected too much by the flooding. I mean, we are, but we're not like the level of people that go there and recreate. And if you're on the water, and the nice thing about Patoka, I know I've jumped in Patoka Lake and you can see your feet. That's nice because the water's clean. But it's because of events like this that make that happen. And we drink that water.
Right. Well, and see, that's what people don't realize. They think it just the counties right around the lake. What the water goes a long ways that way. So the best, if you live in Gibson County or Warwick County, that water is going down there too, and you want to come up and help and keep that clean so you can have clean water.
And really, it's a good time. I can't say I've ever gone and have not enjoyed myself. Yeah. My grandsons usually come and help me as well, because it's just kind of like a family tradition for us. And I know there's other people. Every year I see the same group of people that are there, because they're not there because they are committed to. I mean, I'm sure they're doing it because they care about the environment, but it's also a good time. And it's a nice family tradition for some.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that it takes up the morning. You've got the afternoon free, so you're only spending that time shortly in the morning. So the other thing I think is nice is often you have all kinds of communities and all kinds of businesses around the lake, and they never talk to each other. Well, now we got the Corps, we've got the businesses, we've got water companies. All those people are also talking to each other, which really is a good point.
Now, again, it's this Saturday. Registration's at 8. We really start cleaning up as soon as you're registered. You can go out if you want, but basically around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Until about 11, when is the time to come back and have a fish fry. So you're really not committing a ton of hours. It's not a whole day. It's just a couple of hours, and it's enjoyable. And let's talk about the fish fry. That's always very good.
Well, we have Jeff Dukes, who has, I believe, cooked the fish for, I can't remember how many years, but and he's excellent at it. And then we'll have some sides. I think we have some beans, maybe some corn, that type of thing, and we'll have soft drinks or water, that type of thing for you. So, and usually you can have your first one, and then usually there's a little left over. So if you want to go back for seconds, I believe we may find some.
I think there's even hot dogs. If somebody's not a fish person,
that's right. We did. Yeah. Yes.
Emily, can you explain what is the Patoka Lake Watershed?
So the watershed is the entire area that drains into Patoka Lake, and we have the steering committee whose mission is to kind of protect the quality of that water. So it's people from all sorts of agencies, state, federal, local, county agencies. Sometimes it's just a vested individual who cares about the lake, like John, who we meet monthly to plan events like the cleanup, but we've also got some other events we've started. We've got one with the National Forest that we do as a hike and learn. And it's just a group that's just dedicated to protecting the water quality in Patoka Lake. We seek grants, things like that.
Yeah. Emily, you might talk about the grants that we're looking at now.
Yeah, so we just applied for 2 more grants from IDEM. There'll be 319 grants. One will be to kind of continue the work that I'm doing and add a few more outreach events. So maybe you can't make it to the cleanup in the fall, but we've got other opportunities for you to receive education on why clean water is important. At different times of the year. And then the other will help us rewrite our management plan for Patoka Lake to kind of identify our water quality issues and decide how we should address those.
And some of those, is it like the Crawford County Cleanup Day?
Yeah.
That's kind of associated with it too. I think we've had that already, have we not?
Yeah, that one's usually in the spring every year, and the hike and learn's in the summer. So we're kind of covering all our bases season-wide. We hope to add one about around after the 4th of July, because there's a lot of trash that's generated on a holiday weekend like that. So that's one of the events we hope to add with if we're awarded these grants.
On the cleanup coming up on Saturday, is there an area that's been designated as we need to work on this area? I think one year you sent a bunch of people to Painter Creek to do that. Actually, Painter Creek, I remember that was during COVID. So instead of having a central location, you had little spots, and we cleaned up there.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So are there areas that have been designated, like we need to really work on these areas?
We've got a few areas to target, mostly different stretches of road or boat ramps or things like that. Trash tends to concentrate around where people like to fish, so some of the fishing spots need picked up. We actually have a meeting tomorrow to finalize those spots so we know how many people to send where.
Yeah, and the Corps and I'm not sure the water district, but they will go out prior and run the whole area, and they will designate those areas that may be super to pick up. Yes.
And it should be a nice day. There may be some rain early in the morning, but not really when the Patoka Lake cleanup is going on, which will make it nice cool, really is what it'll do.
Yeah,
So-
for it's what going to be 90 again today, or
Yeah,
so. So better in the morning than it is in the afternoon.
And really, you're done by 11. And if you don't want to stick around for the fish fry, you don't have to. And even if you can give just an hour, it's worth it. That little bit that you're going to pick up is a couple of pounds. That really can add up.
Right, and it's amazing. We've been doing this. This is, you say, the 18th.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying you would think eventually. Well, is all the trash going to be picked up and we won't have to worry about it? But it seems like we get, just there's some people that just like to throw trash out.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me lately it's getting worse. So let's get back to the old way where really there's not that much trash out.
Well, we'll be working at it. That's for sure.
Okay, it's this Saturday. Emily, will you recap the time, date, place, all of that?
Yep, it's this Saturday, the 28th at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will meet at the dam for registration. If you want to pre-register, check out our Facebook page. It's got my email on it. You'll be assigned a pickup location, be given supplies, safety talk, etc. They'll send you out. You'll come back around 11. We'll have a big group photo. We'll eat lunch, and then we'll have drawings for door prizes.
Okay, make sure you wear long pants, even
Yes.
long sleeves if you want to, but closed-toed shoes.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
tennis shoes are closed-toed shoes.
Yes.
Don't wear sandals because
Yes.
where you may be going.
And the water's down a little bit, so it could be, grassy and stuff. Specifically, you should probably wear closed-toe shoes, yes.
All right. Well, thank you, two, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you to WBDC. You've always been our friends, and we love you.
Well, we'll be there on Saturday morning, as we'll give you more information Saturday morning. Be tuning in, letting you know that everything's on. This is what you need to do. This is how to get there. Looking forward to it. We've had John Wade with the Patoka Lake Watershed Steering Committee for the past umpteen years, and also Emily Russell, who is the coordinator for the Patoka Lake Watershed. Thanks to both of you for coming in this morning on WBDC and 18 WJTS In.form.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.